everyone, and happy Friday. I know I sure miss listening to Rebecca Black with you guys in the morning and dancing our Fridays out, and I can't wait to be doing that with you shortly. So today, we're going to be reading a story called The Old Man and His Door. And this is a very funny story where the man thinks his wife says one thing, but he hears another. Let's read it. The Old Man and His Door. In Mexico, there's a little song that goes like this. La puerta, el puerco. There's no difference to el viejo. That's because to a viejo, or an old man, they sound so much alike, especially if he's not listening carefully. Of course, in Spanish, puerta means door, and puerco means pig. So young or old, if you don't listen carefully, it can get you in trouble. This is the story of an old man in a little village who was good at working in the garden, but terrible at listening to his wife. He could grow the biggest tomatoes and the hottest of hot chilies. His chickens were large and white, and his pigs as plump as water balloons. But whenever his wife called him, he would hurry into his garden and pick up a hoe, pretending to be busy. Later, over dinner, he'd say, "Vieja, I didn't hear you." He likes to trick her, doesn't he? I think so. One Saturday, while he was giving their dog Coco a bath on the porch, his wife came out of the house dressed in her best clothes. She was off to her comadre's for a barbecue. "I don't want you to be late, viejo," she warned. "I won't, I promise. Just let me finish here." But right then, Coco jumped from the tub and ran away with a mountain of suds on his back. The old man dropped the soap and scrub brush and ran after him. They circled the house 3 times and the avocado tree 9 times, with the chicken and pigs stampeding behind. "I want you to bring El Puerco," the wife screamed each time he came around the house. "Did you hear me? El Puerco! Don't forget to bring the pig." You think he heard her? I don't think so. I think he was too busy chasing that dog. "Sí, entiendo. I hear you," he panted as he ran, not really listening. Finally, Coco ran into the tomato vines where the old man caught him and carried him back to the tub. The wife left, dizzy from watching. She closed the gate behind her and set off up the road. Now here's where the play on words starts. The old man started Coco on another bath. When he finished, he scratched his head and said to himself, "Pues, I don't know why my wife wants me to bring a puerta." Remember, that means door. But he didn't argue. He shrugged and unscrewed the front door. Then he heaved it onto his shoulders and headed up the street. So he should have been carrying this pig, but instead he's carrying a door. He must have looked quite funny. After a mile, he stopped to rest near a shabby small house. Out front was a little girl taking care of her baby sister who was crying. "¿Qué pasa?" the old man said. "What's the matter?" "The baby is bored," the girl answered. "She has nothing to play with except her fingers and the hole in her pocket." He combed her soft hair with his fingers. I think he has an idea. Suddenly, the old man said, he took the baby into his arms and brought her to the door. He placed the baby on one side and himself on the other. Together they played peekaboo and tan-tan who's there until the baby gave him a kiss and gurgled happily. Oh, what a kind man to stop to some strangers just to help a crying baby. The old man continued on his way to the barbecue, whistling and playing Kick the Rock. The road was empty and the blue sky as wide as a hat. Then, as he passed under a tree, the door bumped a beehive hanging from a vine. Uh-oh. All around him buzzed a swarm of angry bees. "Ay, ay, ay!" he shouted and ran until his legs grew tired. "These bees are so fast." Panting, he lay down with the door on top of him until the bees buzzed past. Then slowly he opened the peephole and saw only a square patch of sky. Good thing he had the door and not the pig, huh? That was close, he said, and rose to his feet. The old man looked at the beehive and imagined the honey inside. No point in wasting it, he thought. So he drained the honey into his hat, balanced it on the door, and continued on his way. Soon a ragged goose dropped from the sky and landed on the door, now heavier by the weight of a few scruffy feathers. Por favor, rest on my door, the old man offered. Ride as long as you want. Wow, he's even being kind to animals. The ragged goose honked gratefully. She rode for a mile, and when the old man stopped to rest, the goose flapped her wings and flew away. The old man wiped his brow and looked back at the door. What's this? He asked, light in his eyes. He felt the weight of a big egg in his palm. Ay Dios, he said, beaming. I'm a lucky man. Who do you think brought that egg? Yeah, that goose. He started off again with the door on his shoulders. But before long, he heard shouts coming from the lake. He shaded his eyes and looked toward the water. A voice screamed, help me! The old man ran down to the lake. He threw the door into the water and paddled out to the drowning boy. He hauled in onto the door where they both panted with relief. A turtle wriggled from the old man's shirt and a fish jumped from his pocket. The boy thanked him 1,000 times. Muy gracias, he said. Just promise me, the old man said as he steered toward shore. You'll listen to your parents and stay dry until you can swim. On land, the old man brushed a wet leaf from the boy's face. Then he lifted a fish from the boy's shirt. Mira, another one, he said, admiring its gleaming scales. He placed it in his pocket. So he helped the baby, he saved himself from the bees, he helped the goose, now he helped this little boy. I wonder if he could have done all those things if he had heard his wife correctly and brought a pig. The old man waved goodbye and balanced the dripping door on his shoulders. Now he hurried back to the road because he knew he was late to the barbecue. His wife would be angry. But he stopped only a few minutes before when he saw a young man trying to load furniture onto a wagon. Here, let's use this, the old man said, patting the door. He propped it against the wagon so they could use it as a ramp. Then they loaded chairs and tables and a large piano that tinkled as they pushed. Another person he's helping. Muchas gracias, the young man said. De nada, you're welcome, the old man replied. I never knew a door had so many uses. Together they placed the door on the old man's shoulders. The young man balanced 2 watermelons on either side. These are from my garden, he said. The old man hurried along with his gifts and finally arrived at the comadre's house. The barbecue was in the yard, there was music playing, and a donkey piñata had hung from a tree. I'm here, he announced. The door slid from his shoulders. Wonder what they're all going to say. Ay Dios, cried his wife. What are you doing with the door? Pues, you told me to bring it, he said, wiping his brow. It was hard work. I said to bring el puerco, not la puerta. She reeled around to her comadre. He never listens to me. I asked him to bring the pig and he brings the door. The old man had to laugh. He took the egg from his pocket and said, but look what else I brought. Un huevo? She said with a surprise. See, an egg and some honey, a fish, and these watermelons. And even this, he said, and gave his wife a kiss from the baby. You brought all this, his wife blushed. See, let me tell you how it happened. Tell us over dinner, the comadre interrupted kindly. They barbecued the fish, boiled the egg, sliced the watermelons, made a table at the door, and placed the honey hat in the center. El puerta, el puerco. There's no difference to el vejo. Isn't that a funny story? So even though he heard the wrong thing and his wife was angry at the beginning, they both looked at the bright side and saw that even though he had made a mistake, it actually worked out better in the end. So I want you to go ahead and finish number 1. You listened to me read, and now it's your turn to write. Take out a piece of white paper, a notebook paper, even a purple paper. And I want you to answer our question for the day. Tell the beginning, middle, and end of the story. Be sure to include 2 ways that he used the door. So that's where your detail is going to come in today. I want you to include very specific things that he used the door for as he was on his journey from his house to the comadre's house. Then I want you to read for 20 or 30 minutes on Raz Kids and answer the same question for yourself in the books that you've read. And be sure to include at least 2 details in your beginning, middle, and end. Thanks, and I'll see you next week.